Hey, speak for yourself, listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com. Now, let's start the show.
That's a million watch with my dog. Let's get it started in the NFC, where Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers will meet for the first time in the playoffs in Sunday's NFC Championship game on Fox. Brady is making his 14th trip to the big game, but he'll be without one of his top targets, Antonio Brown, with a knee injury. On the other side, Rodgers will be in his first NFC Championship game at Lambeau Field. The Bucs blew out the Packers back in Week 6, but Rodgers said earlier this week that he does not feel any extra pressure heading into this game. So, Acho, which quarterback do you trust more? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
I trust Aaron Rodgers, Marcellus, and it's actually because of something you told me earlier on in the week. I agreed with it. I think I've said it before, but nonetheless, I'll say that you said it best. When you look at a quarterback, when you look at a team, the question is, what are you capable of?
Okay, yep.
Right? You have to talk about someone as, what are you capable of doing? What's your highs? What are your lows? But Marcellus, I had to take it one step further because it's not just what are these quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, capable of. How often are you capable of it?
Oh, man.
It's not just what are you capable of. How often are you capable of it? Sal, since I've been here, you ain't been late to work once. I ain't seen you late on set one time.
Son.
Not one time.
That's not what I do.
Now, if someone were to be late 2 to 3 times, then all of a sudden you realize not only are they capable of being late, but wait a second, this is a frequent occurrence. Whereas you ain't been late not one time. So I trust you.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about football. Aaron Rodgers, what is he capable of conversely to Tom Brady? Aaron Rodgers has only had one game completion percentage under 60%. Tom Brady's had 4. Aaron Rodgers has only had 2 games under 200 yards passing. This year, Tom Brady has had 3. Aaron Rodgers has had 7 games throwing for 4 touchdowns or more. Tom Brady has had 4. So I'm talking about what are you capable of, Aaron Rodgers? How low are your lows? Well, you've had 1 terrible game against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, 1 questionable game against the Panthers. Tom Brady, you've had 3 to 4 real suspect games. The Saints, the Rams, some could argue the Chiefs. Even last game, only a 54% completion percentage. So, I listened to what you said first off. What are somebody capable of? I took it one step further, and I trust Aaron Rodgers because his lows, he's less capable of hitting them, and they aren't as low. And his highs, he's more capable of reaching them, and they are higher. For that reason, your boy trusts Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady.
Okay. I loved your take because it had a lot of me in it. No, respect to the take, but you took it too far. You said I took it another step, you took it too far. Because it's not that Aaron Rodgers isn't capable. I think his ceiling is actually higher than Tom Brady, to your point. The problem is, what is his regression to his mean? What is his average?
You're going somewhere.
Let's go deeper. What is his median? In moments like this. Acho. How many homies we had when we were playing 3 Flies Up and all those little football Pop Warner games used to do their thing, all right? Put the pads on, homie. Let's see what you can do now. Uh-oh, where you go? What happened to you? Now, these are 2 all-time greats going at it. But when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, he is great. He is the best of the rest. But when you're talking about going against the GOAT, that's when you lose in comparison. When you're insanely great like Aaron Rodgers, you don't even understand the next stratosphere that doesn't even occupy where Tom Brady is. He's beyond that stratosphere. We're talking about the 1-ring Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about the Aaron Rodgers who is 1-3 in NFC Championship games. Tom Brady is in his 14th opportunity. That's good. Pretty good. But it's not to son Aaron Rodgers. It's just to say, there are levels to this Meek Mill style. And I look at Aaron Rodgers and I'm saying, you have not figured out yet how to culminate all of your skills, all of your talents into a translation for ultimate team success. That's what a Super Bowl champion does. He takes what he has, he takes what you have, and they add it all up for the ultimate team victory. That's when Aaron Rodgers falls short. Now, before I've come on here supporting Aaron Rodgers in NFC Championship games, because in all of his losses in the playoffs, his team, his defense specifically, has given up 36 points on average. Okay, that sounds good. Except when you start to look at Aaron Rodgers in terms of what he does in these same NFC Championship games, you're like, is that the same Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is not the same guy in these moments. So I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers as, one, you got to get your team over the hump. But before you get your team over the hump, I need Aaron Rodgers to be Aaron Rodgers in these moments. A 1-3 record in those moments is not the same. Packers have averaged 21 points per game in his 4 NFC Championship game appearances. This is the #1 scoring offense this year. I wonder if he's going to regress to the mean of these moments, which is 21 points, or he's finally going to stand out and stand up for who he is in greatness and do what he's supposed to do.
Regressing to the mean. I like that.
You know
Bringing up mean median mode. I'm rocking with you there. But let me say this.
Okay.
The other reason that I have to now trust Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to step away from all the football jargon, if we can, for a second. And let's talk some of the off-the-field things. Packers playing this game at home, which means Aaron Rodgers gets to sleep in his own bed. Aaron Rodgers has his own meals, and he has his own chef, the one they're used to. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is ready for the standard pregame routine. You know what Tom Brady, and you got to do what when you travel. It's the worst. Tom Brady going to get on this plane. He's going to put on probably his compression tights, because when you get to the air, when you're playing ball, you got to wear your compression tights so you get the blood flow all going in your legs. Then they're probably going to stay in Appleton, because you usually don't stay in Wisconsin. You remember 45 minutes? Where'd y'all stay? We stayed about 45 minutes from the stadium.
We stayed at a place that didn't make us feel so comfortable staying there, or wherever that was.
Exactly.
I was like, hey, man, hurry up. When's kickoff?
So you're going to end up staying not actually in Green Bay, but say about 45 minutes from the stadium where the beds is hard, and now everything is different because you don't got the pregame meal on lock, you don't know your routine, etc. Marcellus, I want to read a little bit deeper into the details. When you're talking about two quarterbacks so evenly matched, you're talking about probably the best of all time versus the greatest of all time. 2 of the top 3 to play this position, at least in the last 25 years, last quarter century. Now we got to split these hairs. Now we got to figure out what's really going to make the difference. I'm going to trust the person who doesn't have to change the routine. I'm going to trust the person who is used to the atmosphere, who is used to the climate. You talked about this yesterday, and we didn't talk enough about it, but even if you don't think weather's going to play a factor, your body going to respond. I love what you brought up. Even if we're sitting in a studio like I am right now, starting to perspire a little bit, because even if I'm trying to tell myself I ain't hot, it's hot under all these lights. Walk outside and it's cold. Acho, you tough. It's cold. It ain't cold out here. It ain't cold. Like your body will naturally. Aaron Rodgers is more acclimated to the elements, and as a result, I'm gonna trust the dude who's playing at home. He at his house. He on his couch. He eating his potato chips. He watching his TV. I'm gonna trust that dude.
Damn. I hate when I agree with something, but I disagree with it too. And I'm here right now because I raise my hand for routine. Except if I've been unsuccessful with my routine, then I need to change my routine. Now, they can't change it. You want home field advantage. Oh, sorry, this year it's a pandemic. Home field advantage means there's 18 people in the crowd. But in terms of routine, you're taking me down a path that Aaron Rodgers, because he's comfortable, is going to be comfortable on the field come this weekend. But in NFC Championship games, Aaron Rodgers is not comfortable. I'm going to give you 2 examples of Aaron Rodgers and his routine leading him to disaster more so than success. Let's talk about this routine that has him now 1-3 in his NFC Championship games. Let's talk about this routine that now he's going to be at home finally, but each of his last 3 NFC Championship games, he's lost. Not just lost because of them, in part lost because of him. 6 passing touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a 78 passer rating. No, Baker Mayfield's not playing this weekend. Those are Aaron Rodgers' numbers in the NFC Championship games. What is going on when you see Aaron Rodgers perform less than? Pressure. Pressure is different for everybody because it's based on how much you want to listen to it and how much you want to respond to it. We all put pressure on ourselves, but does it have the impact and influence on our behavior is this conversation. Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP this year, correct?
Yes, sir.
But Aaron Rodgers, historically, in this moment, has failed himself, let alone the Green Bay Packers. Let's go to this year because you could be caught up in history and not talk about the present. The present also suggests that Aaron Rodgers, this may not be good for you as well. This is the third time that Aaron Rodgers has faced a team a second time in that season after they smashed them the first time, beat them by 25 points or more. Remember what happened in 2015? 5 years ago. Lost to the Cardinals by 30 in the regular season. Everybody's like, oh, man, you know Green Bay going to get them boys again. Nope, they lost by 6 in the playoffs. Okay, forget it. Let's go to last year, the 49ers by 29. Remember that game? And everybody's like, nah, even though they're 13-3, a little empty calorie in terms of their team success, they're still going to be okay against the 49ers. No, they weren't.
Not at all.
Lost by 29 the first time, lost by 17 the second time, and it wasn't that close. So now you lose to the Buccaneers by 28, and Aaron Rodgers, his own podcast after podcast, talking about that was a long time ago. Aaron, a long time ago doesn't support you. A long time ago shows that you fail in these moments. So this year, if history is telling me anything, Acho, it's telling me that his routine is going to lead him right to the road of disaster.
Okay, I like that. I'm not mad at it. But I've told you my first reason I trust Aaron Rodgers is because I think he's more capable of good and he's less capable of bad.
Okay.
The second reason I told you I trusted Aaron Rodgers is because he's in his natural habitat. He's at home. I'm going to land the plane with my third reason. I actually trust Aaron Rodgers because of his history in this environment. Not his history in the time frame, because you're giving me time frame, right? But I'm giving you history in this. Go ahead.
And I'm giving you NFC championship games. We
Correct.
all know. We know when we're playing a regular season game. We know when it's the bye week because we ain't nowhere to be found.
Absolutely.
We also know when it's the playoffs. We're like, yo, I'm going faster. How do I know? Because they're going faster. NFC championship. I've been to 3 wild card rounds and lost. And every time I walked into that wild card round, I was like, I'm ready. Let's go. And sometime during the first quarter, I was like, what is going on? Are we on a 405 freeway playing this game? It's insane. Imagine the NFC Championship game where he falters.
But here's what we know, and here's what you and I agree, and weather plays a factor.
Let's go.
So the last point I'm going to talk about is just how much weather plays a factor and how Aaron Rodgers plays in these climates. I'm not going to show y'all what I mean yet. First, I'm going to talk to y'all. Oh, I'm about to hurt some feelings for y'all sitting at home watching this. And Marcellus, I'm about to discourage you and worry you a little bit. See, in studying the anatomy, right?
Okay.
You can take a long time to build up a habit, but it's a lot easier to break one, right? So you can work out. My dog Marcellus Wiley looks great right now. That's a good 2-shot.
Yeah,
this looks great. The suits are getting loose.
The suits are baggy.
The suits are getting baggy.
suits, boy.
Because he's been working out. But here's the problem. Muscles begin to atrophy if you stop working out for about 8 days.
I heard about it. I felt it.
So you can work out for about 8 months, but you're going to start to lose results in 8 days. It's a lot quicker to lose your gains. Why do I bring this up? Tom Brady, he played in the cold for forever. He played in the cold for forever. But he's already told us, like, hey, I don't like this cold no more. So when I lived in Philly playing for the Eagles, I would walk outside 35 degrees in flip-flops and shorts.
Yes.
In Cali, if it's under 60, I'm in a hood because my body has forgotten what it felt like to be in that cold.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers hasn't forgotten that. That's the last reason I'm going to say that I trust him. Because in frigid temperatures since 2016, when it's freezing or below, Aaron Rodgers is 10-0. Oh, God. When it's freezing or below, this man, Aaron Rodgers, is 10-0, 26 touchdowns to 1 interception since 2016 when it's freezing or below. Aaron Rodgers is used to these climates, whereas Tom Brady, I would say that not only has he said he don't want to play there no more, and in the cold that is, live in the cold that is, but also I think his body's probably forgotten how to execute at such a high level as it has. Think about the other star players. Mike Evans, I told y'all yesterday, played college at Texas A&M. Then played in Tampa his whole career. Leonard Fournette played at LSU, Jacksonville, then Tampa. Ronald Jones, the other star running back, USC, and then Tampa. I think their star players aren't necessarily acclimated for this climate. Star players are going to be integral in these star quarterback success. That's my third reason why I'm trusting Aaron Rodgers more.
I love you. I love you. Basically, you're saying what our weight coaches used to always say, our strength and conditioning coaches, that it takes forever to get into shape and no time to get out of it. Like that. You're right. And you're right about how your body, your mind, everything gets acclimated. We're just some conditioning fishing beans.
I've been right on all three of my points, Sal. So, hey, how can I be right on all my points and be wrong?
Yeah, your points are great, and they may get 3 points in the game, too. But guess what? It ain't going to be enough for them to deal with Aaron Rodgers. Is going to look at Tom Brady and say, you got me in head-to-head matchups in our career. He's going to look at him and say, that team beat our team this year. And then he's going to look at him and say, I was just watching film of a team that scored 30 points. When Tom Brady threw for under 200 yards, so that's not a great game. He's going to play better. His top 4 threats, Godwin, Evans, AB, and Gronk combined for 7 catches, 61 yards, and 1 touchdown. And now no AB. They're going to play better as a collective. The running game that we were watching only averaged 3.6 yards a carry. Aaron Rodgers and these Green Bay Packers know that they're going against a team that is fully loaded, fully ready, and has the best field general that was ever created. Now it's time for us to switch gears. We have some sad news in the sports world. Hall of Famer Hank Aaron passed away at the age of 86. The former home run king was a 25-time All-Star, and he still holds the Major League RBI record. Hammerin' Hank was a true baseball legend. Here's a look back at the legacy of one of sports' greatest icons.
Henry Louis Aaron was one of the country's most triumphant figures during the 20th century. Major League Baseball's all-time home run leader for more than 33 years, he remains, in the eyes of many, its rightful home run king. Aaron spent 21 years with the Braves, first in Milwaukee, then in Atlanta, before finishing his career back in Milwaukee with the Brewers. Although best known for his 755 home runs, Hammerin' Hank remains baseball's career leader in RBI and total bases. Aaron was born in Mobile, Alabama, and grew up poor in the segregationist South, but that hardly marked the end of the racism he endured. He and his family received threats while he approached Babe Ruth's home run record, yet he displayed unsurpassed grace amid the harsh scrutiny. In the Braves' home opener in 1974, Aaron swung into history, connecting on career home run number 715.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
40 years later, the Braves once again honored Aaron on the anniversary of his monumental achievement.
On behalf of Hank Aaron, my wife, and of course all of my fans, I just want to say thank you so very much for all your kindness for these many years.
An All-Star for 21 consecutive seasons, Aaron was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1982. When Barry Bonds eclipsed Aaron's home run record in 2007, it provided another example of the Hammer's class.
My hope today, as it was on that April evening in 1974, is that the achievement of this record will inspire others to chase their own dreams.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Well, Chiefs fans, Nick Wright included, y'all can breathe a sigh of relief. Patrick Mahomes said today that he has cleared concussion protocol, so he will start Sunday. This is his 3rd straight trip to the AFC Championship game. Now on the Bills side, quarterback Josh Allen, he is an MVP candidate, and he said earlier this week he's not going to let the weight of his first AFC Championship game get too big, like Marcellus' suits. Y'all take a listen.
You know, I've played in a few big games, and as we go on here, every game's a bigger game than the last one. And you know, it's still the same game of football, and we don't need to reinvent anything on our offense. We just got to go up there and try to execute a game plan and try to be the best versions of ourselves we can be.
Let's talk about this.
Let's go.
I love this because you're a facts over feelings guy, but right now I feel like they're about to collide. Do you expect Josh Allen to hang with Patrick Mahomes?
Yes, I do. And so what? I wear my emotions on my baggy suits, on my sleeve. I'm a believer. That's what we are. Buffalo Bills Mafia. Believers. I noticed you shouted out Nick Wright and not my ex, Jason Whitlock. He's the biggest Chiefs fan I know. Literally, And figuratively, why didn't you give him some love? You don't like my ex? Let's talk about this. Let me get back on topic. And Josh Allen and these Bills coming for these boys. All right, let's set the scene. We're on the Fox studio lot.
Yes, sir.
Doing a television show. And right next door, they're filming movies. Let's film this movie about a compromised Chiefs team. Oh, limping, sputtering throughout the season, not looking the same. Oh, they're bored. Oh, they're playing with fire, that Chiefs team. But everyone knows that they're still the Chiefs, even in a playoff game. The quarterback who is all-world in Patrick Mahomes can only play half the game and still beat the other starting quarterback in a full game. And then that quarterback gets knocked out the game, gets his head knocked off. Oh, that limping team, now with a compromised quarterback, is now facing these Buffalo Bills. Oh, it's set up perfectly for the Buffalo Bills to go out there and take care of business. Why? Because the Buffalo Bills have the #2 scoring offense. Why? Because of the remaining teams, the Buffalo Bills have the best defense in scoring defense. So we have what we need, and now we have a quarterback that has arrived. People are like, how you know he's arrived? He hasn't even played this game yet. I will repeat the names that he's going to be in the company of this weekend. Tom Brady.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Well, he's arrived. He's somewhere where he belongs. With this team as fully loaded as they are, and Patrick Mahomes being compromised and Josh Allen ready for the moment, the only thing you could talk about is, well, Patrick's been here before. But as Acho always reminds me when I try to go with my big historical context, it's not what have you done, it's what have you done lately. Full screen king, mafia style. Let's bring up these numbers. This is very simple. Since week 13, guys, it's basically 7 weeks of football. Josh Allen beating Patrick Mahomes in points per game. Josh Allen more accurate with the football. Josh Allen better touchdown to turnover ratio. If you blink, if you squint, you might miss that Josh Allen is ready for this moment, but I'm not. Eyes wide open, Bills Mafia, because I'm a believer.
I like your take, Sal, and I'm not here to cut you down. I'm just here to plant my own tree, if I can. Josh Allen won't hang with Patrick Mahomes, but that's because he shouldn't try.
Ooh.
He won't hang with Mahomes, but he shouldn't try. Let's think about it. Last week, the Buffalo Bills said, hey, Josh Allen, it's on you, big dog. Go out there and pass the ball. For the first time in NFL playoff history, we saw a team not attempt to run the ball in the first quarter. Josh Allen, it's all on you. But for the first time since week 4 of 2019, the Bills only scored 3 points in a half. A half in which Josh Allen played the entirety of. So they tried to say, hey, Josh Allen, put the team on your back. And what happened? Now, for those of y'all that didn't get to watch the game, or it's been a while, and I've been hitting the head a couple times, so the memory's bad, take a look at it. 13 minutes left in the second quarter. That's the first time a running play happens. But it wasn't even an intentional running play. It was a design pass play. You see it there, 13:56. Design pass play out of the shotgun, in empty, and Josh Allen tucks it and runs it. So that's 13 minutes in the second quarter till you see a run. 3 minutes and 7 seconds, Marcellus Wiley, until there was actually a called run. 3 minutes, 7 seconds until the Bills decided to call a run. You don't score in the first half, no touchdowns. So what do the Bills do? Your head coach, Sean McDermott, not your actually head coach, but your team's head coach. At halftime, they regroup, and Sean McDermott says, hey, bump all this passing stuff. We gonna run the ball.
Pound them.
First possession, second half, Bills, 4 runs, only offensive touchdown of the game. When they tried to put it all on Josh Allen in the playoffs, light him up, light him up, light him up, light him up, you ain't get no touchdowns. But then they said, you know what, we tripping. That's on us. Hey, that's on us, big dog. We gonna go out there and run the ball. All of a sudden, you got your touchdown. The last thing I'm gonna do to end my lap is this. Nobody should try to compete with Patrick Mahomes, because nobody can. The greatest of all time, week 11, we saw the Chiefs play the Buccaneers. Hey, Tom Brady, you the GOAT. Go compete with Patrick Mahomes, why don't you? Tom Brady threw the ball 41 times. He had 3 touchdowns, congratulations. He also had 2 interceptions. The last time the Buccaneers and Tom Brady had the ball with an ability to take the lead in that game, 7 minutes left in the first quarter, Marcellus. So if Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and that prolific offense can't compete with Patrick Mahomes passing the ball, Josh Allen, please don't even try to. Well, let's bring in another opinion. That's NFL analyst Bucky Brooks, my guy. His glasses are actually real. So, Bucky, you expect Josh Allen to hang with Patrick Mahomes?
So here's the thing, because this is a huge dilemma. I'm really torn because I've been a part of Chiefs Kingdom. I've been a part of Bill's Mafia. This really, man, tugs on the heartstrings when I think about this, because Josh Allen has played at an MVP level. He has been a one-man show, really a force of nature when it comes to the way that he has been able to put this offense on his back. He is a one-man show, unlike, I would say, anything that we've really seen in this league. And what the Bills do is they put it all on him, and he has been absolutely outstanding. When you think about this team winning 8 straight games, the fact that they are scoring 35.5 points and being able to get it done, you would like to think that you can jump in the ring with the Chiefs and go toe-to-toe. But if they do that, they're going to go out on a shield. They cannot get into a shootout with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are the football version of the Golden State Warriors in their prime. You're not going to outscore the Kansas City Chiefs. And so as much as I love what Josh Allen has done and how much he's improved as a playmaker, if they ask him to throw it 35 or more times, it's a recipe for disaster. I want Josh Allen to play well, but I think less is more in this game, because if you give the Chiefs too many opportunities to go up and down, they're going to outrun you in a track meet.
That's real. Let me talk to my fellas if we can, if I can, please. Bucky, Marcellus, I'm telling on myself. Because, and I'm probably telling on all of us, sometimes you go through life and you just use phrases that you hear. And you don't really know the meaning or the origin. For the first time, I'm going to tell on myself, I rode horses like a month ago. I had to get outside in L.A. I went out somewhere and rode some horses. And the horse instructor, as we got back to the base, she was like, yeah, just hold your horses right there. And I was like, hold your horses. See, all the time I use the phrase, don't fight fire with fire. Okay, but what's that really mean? Like, I don't really like playing with fire. But then you look up, wait, don't fight fire with fire. It simply means don't respond to an attacker by using the same method as the attacker. Don't try to fight the Chiefs by using the same method that the Chiefs will kill you with. Sal, you mentioned Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if y'all are cool, but y'all have conversations.
That's my dog.
That's your dog.
That's my dog.
What I know is this. You don't try to beat Floyd by a decision. If you gonna beat Floyd, you better knock Floyd out, because Floyd is the best at not getting touched. Floyd is the best at bruising you up. He probably ain't gonna knock you out, but he gonna win in decision because he will punch you more times than you punch him. Don't try to beat Floyd Mayweather at the same manner in which he will beat you. So, I know this about the Chiefs. 8 out of 9 Patrick Mahomes losses. He's lost 9 times in his career. 8 of the times, the opposing team has averaged 166 yards rushing. How do you beat Patrick Mahomes? You do not beat Patrick Mahomes by trying to out-Patrick Mahomes. You beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs by trying to win on the running game. I left one note out when I talked about Tom Brady and his Buccaneers. They only attempted 13 rushes that game against the Chiefs. Their second fewest all season long. Don't try to fight fire with fire, and don't try to beat the Chiefs by out-Patrick Mahomesing Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you're talking to the resident pyro up here, because I told you, boy, I used to grab a brand new bag. You know, there's several paper towels in there, like rolls, and throw it in the sink and light it up. I was 11, 12 years old. I was a pyro for real until my mama grabbed something that you can't grab anymore with these kids, and I stopped playing with fire. But we keep equating and making Patrick Mahomes synonymous with fire. But what if that fire of late is not burning the same? What if that fire is going out of sort? Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and their 71 combined points in the last 3 Mahomes starts. 71. Is that good for them? Well, no, because it's the second fewest amount of points in a 3-game span in Patrick Mahomes' career. So that's not good. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes and this fire that is, according to you guys, blazing out of control. But according to the numbers, Patrick Mahomes has the second biggest passer rating drop-off of any quarterback since week 13. Okay, so maybe this fire isn't out of control as you guys say it is. Maybe there is some water in the air, some precipitation, something that's keeping him from blazing like normal. The only way that the Buffalo Bills will lose this game is, frankly, if Josh Allen doesn't believe that he belongs on this level. With a Tom Brady, with a Aaron Rodgers, with a Patrick Mahomes at the championship level. If he doesn't believe that fully, deeply, I mean, talking about his unconscious, subconscious, if he doesn't believe it like that, then it's not going to work out. But This is a guy who went from like an intro to math class, and the next day he's in the AP calculus class. And he may be overwhelmed, but I don't think he is. And then he's going to go against a team. Bucky, I need to see your face because you keep telling me that he can't win a shootout against Patrick Mahomes. Matter of fact, my boy Acho says he can't win a shootout against Patrick Mahomes. How about the number says he doesn't have to? Let's talk about how the Bills beat the Ravens even though they were outgained by 120 yards. How about the fact that the Bills are 6-2 this season when they're outgained by their opponents? So go ahead, Kansas City, do your thing. How about the fact that if we look at the Bills, they're 5-1 this year when they have under 350 yards of offense? That means they're not lighting it up, and they still win those ball games. How about the fact that the Bills only score 17 points? We saw that last week, but they have a winning record when they score under 25 points. How about the Bills are 4-1 this season when Josh Allen has under 225 total yards? So, Bucky, you keep telling me about this Golden State team, and Acho keeps talking about how these are the Warriors out there. That 73-win Warrior team, right? That was down 1-3 against OKC, right? And then all of a sudden lost in the finals to LeBron, right? Sometimes you don't have to go toe-to-toe with a team. Maybe it's just a war of attrition because certainly the sputtering of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs looks like a little war of attrition.
Oh, okay, Marcella. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take both of your arguments because both of you guys make great points. I like the don't fight fire with fire from Acho. I like what you're saying about Bills Mafia. But here's how I'm going to spin it and let you know that this fight is real. It's a heavyweight fight. And in the other corner is Mike Tyson because that's the Kansas City Chiefs. So now if you run over there and you think you're going to knock Mike Tyson out in the first round, they're going to drag you out. However, if you take Evander Holyfield's strategy and you kind of pepper him with jabs, and every now and then you take him into that deep water, and maybe you get him into the 6th, 7th, and 8th round, then you can kind of lay into him. And then maybe Mike Tyson gets a little frustrated and tries to snatch it off your ear. So if you're the Buffalo Bills and you look back at how they played in Week 6, that's the strategy that they took. Defensively, they didn't drop anybody in the box. They let the Kansas City Chiefs run for as many yards as they want to have. And they were hoping that they could stiffen up in the red zone. Offensively, same thing. Let's eat up the clock. Let's not give it back to them. Don't turn it over and those things. And in the fourth quarter, they were right there. They couldn't get it done, but that's the best tactic. So what I'm saying is the Buffalo Bills absolutely can win, but they cannot win if they're going out there trying to drop a haymaker. Because as they throw those haymakers, they leave themselves vulnerable. And we've seen Pat Mahomes is the best knockout artist in football. He's won 24 out of his last 25 games. If they do that, he'll walk away and chalk up another dub.
Mike Tyson before or after Buster Douglas? Buffalo Bills, Buster Douglas time. Coming up, the Texans owner apologized to Deshaun Watson. We'll tell you if he needed to do that. Next, speak for yourself.
What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
Welcome back to Speak For Yourself. Reports say Texans owner Cal McNair personally apologized to Deshaun Watson and acknowledged the need for better communication. This follows reports that Watson was furious over not being consulted about Houston hiring Nick Caserio as their general manager, which led to speculation that he played his last snap as a Texan. Bucky is back, but Acho, did Cal McNair need to apologize to Deshaun Watson?
He did not need to. But boy, am I glad he did.
Okay.
He didn't need to because here's what we know about management. Sometimes management looks at players like, you're a little player. Who are you, little boy? Like, I'm the owner. I run stuff out here. What do I need to apologize to you for? But I've said this before. Don't nobody win when the family feuds. It's in the best interest of their relationship that he does apologize. I think in life and in sports, oftentimes we egotistical, if I can speak generally for men, don't necessarily need love. But what we need is respect. And what Deshaun Watson made clear that he needed was respect. I don't want you to say you're going to consult me, then not consult me, or consult me in part. Any confusion there. Deshaun Watson needs his respect. So even if Cal McNair were to go on and hire the coach that Deshaun Watson wants, but not amend that previous situation, they still gonna have beef. He's amended this previous situation, but they still need to move forward on one accord. So he didn't need to apologize, but I am glad he did, because this is their first step in kind of reconciling that very rocky relationship.
You know, Acho, I agree with you in terms of the apology and what was necessary. I would say that he needed to do that, because the two things that you have to have in this relationship that they have with the Texans is you have to have trust and communication. And the only way that you can really build the respect that you need is he has to earn back Deshaun Watson's trust, particularly because he told him one thing and did something else. He told him that he was going to include him in the process. Not necessarily that he was going to let Deshaun Watson pick the general manager and the head coach, but he talked about this being an inclusive process where he was going to bring him in. But when you say that and then you go and do something else, now you have the face of the franchise feeling some kind of way. Cal McNair was right to try and kind of mend the fences so this franchise can get back on track, because they need Deshaun Watson to play at a high level. And the only way he is going to play at a high level is if he feels valued by the leaders of the franchise, and that's the management and ownership team.
I'm going to disagree with you guys, and I want to go to the deep end of the pool. Yeah, let's mess our hair up. Let's do it. Yes, he needed to apologize, and maybe for a counterintuitive reason. I learned this level of enlightenment from my therapist. I was whispered this level of enlightenment by my wife when I first met my wife, who would apologize for any and everything. And my therapist finally brought it home to me in terms of why you should apologize in life. And there are two reasons. I had lived a life maybe 38 years long of only apologizing for one reason: if I was wrong. But my therapist and my wife enlightened me to you should apologize for two reasons. One, if you're wrong, but two, if the other person felt wronged by your actions or hurt by your actions. See, if you're Cal McNair in this situation, you have come to realize that even though I don't think I did anything wrong, I've hurt someone that I care for. So now you get to a place where Cal McNair, who lives with a different security level and a level of abundance in which he can give that lending hand to someone who he feels he's wronged or hurt. So in this situation, it's funny because in life, this happens all the time. Not bragging, y'all, but just giving y'all these facts. There was a few years I had a big boat. Some call it a yacht, but whatever. Anyway, I'm out there. I didn't know what the hell yacht culture was. I'm a fish out of water, literally. And one day I'm sitting there on my big boat, and this guy just walks on it. I'm like, hey, bro, you know me. I'm like, what's up, homie? Like, I'm looking at him in a different way. And he's like, hey, how you doing? And just walks right on my boat. And we started to break bread because he was not doing anything harmful. We started to break bread. And he started to explain to me about yacht culture, which is an open door policy, which is, hey, since I have it and I know you have it, we can share it. And it took me a deep reflection of how I grew up with limited resources. And I noticed when you don't have a lot, you hold on to it really tight. And I noticed that looking at this yacht culture where everyone has to have an open door policy and you can just walk on someone's boat and grab a brew and say, what's up, buddy? I don't even know you, but how you doing? Versus how I grew up. And I grew up in a situation where it was bars and gates, except us. So the point of this is a place of enlightenment. When you get to that place, and we all hopefully will get there, that you can share with someone else. Even if you don't feel like you did them wrong, you can at least experience the pain that they're feeling.
Bucky Brooks, once a week, Marcellus does something that reminds me how much money he's come across over the course of his life.
Always.
Early on in the show, Acho, I wrecked my Rolls Royce one time. Then later on in the show, Acho, I had a couple Bentleys back in my wild day. And now today, I had a big boat. Some call it a yacht. And random dudes will just come, like Marcellus. Why you keep subtly stunting? Okay, I get it. You're rich.
I was before Instagram. I had to tell y'all because y'all ain't gonna ever see it.
I love this. So let me take it one more layer.
Let's go.
It's never positive when pride breaks up talent. It's never positive when pride breaks up talent. Tom Brady is about to play in another conference championship game en route to, hopefully for the Buccaneers, a Super Bowl. Now, 50% of the time when Tom Brady was in New England, he went to the Super Bowl. And 66% of the time he went to the Super Bowl, he won the Super Bowl. We give Bill Belichick a pass for not mending his relationship with Tom Brady because y'all already won 6. You went there 9 times, so you did enough. But if we're being hypercritical, we can look at Belichick and say, hey, bro, why you let your pride get in the way of your connection and the talent of Tom Brady? Let's talk basketball. So many people watched The Last Dance this past summer. And we give Jerry Krause, the GM for the Bulls, the late GM for the Bulls, we give him a pass because they won 6 titles in 8 years. But listen to Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, or Phil Jackson tell it, that dynasty didn't necessarily need to be broken up. They probably could have won more. Phil Jackson, 1999, he didn't win, but then he won another 3-peat. So they probably could have won more. But because they won so much, we're just kind of like, nah, not a big deal. Bill Belichick, not a big deal. But Deshaun Watson and the Texans, they haven't won it all yet. So now we're hyper-vigilant of this situation. The other reason I will say that I'm glad he did apologize, whether he needed to or not, was because do not let your pride get in the way of a franchise quarterback. We throw that term franchise quarterback around loosely, but there are only probably 8 to 12 franchise quarterbacks in the NFL. Texans, y'all have one of them. Don't let pride cost you the one you have.
You know, Acho, it's great that you brought up what Deshaun Watson is. If Deshaun Watson was playing anywhere else with the numbers that he put up this year, he would have been the MVP. Yeah. Like, he did an outstanding job of carrying a team that really didn't have the weapons around him. And so I know on the outside, we like to have these fantasy football debates of, oh, where would Deshaun Watson go? Where can he end up? But the Houston Texans have to see that value and find a way to keep that at home. It's hard to find a franchise quarterback. When you have one, you want to keep one because it really changes the plight of the franchise for the next decade. So Cal McNair was right to humble himself, to go to Deshaun Watson, to try and make it right. And now they can go forward together and right the wrongs of this franchise because they need number 4 on board if they want to entertain any hopes of becoming a Super Bowl contender.
I love all this. This is one of my favorite segments I think we ever did on this show because we are really trying to talk through sports and give life lessons. I love this. But we can't be all up here holding hands and singing We Are the World and baking apple pies up here. Let me keep it real. I started my first take about therapy, and I'm going to go back to therapy because it's interesting. Something comes to mind again when I think of this situation. All right. Apologies don't necessarily mean agreement, just acknowledgement, as we talked about in the first lap. Want to know why I've been engaged 4 times? Because Acho always says I come up here and try to stunt. Let me talk bad about myself as well. You know why I've been engaged 4 times,
Why,
Acho?
Marcellus?
Because I only apologize for one reason, when I was wrong. But I never was apologizing when I was hurting people through the process. But I made it through that process, and now I'm a happy man. But my understandings of life also come from my upbringing, and I wasn't a pastor's son like you, Acho, but my great-grandmama kept me in the church. And there was one Bible verse that I remembered that comes to mind that applies to this.
I swear if you say, if you're hot or cold, I will spew you. I swear if you say that.
Acho, know me.
It can't be your only verse.
Hey,
it can't be your only verse, Marcellus.
You gotta have more. Tied up in that
you gotta have more.
We can't go home and watch Dukes of Hazzard. I got to be up in church every weekend. All right, here's the thing. Nope, I got another one. I knew Acho was going to push back because I only know 2 verses. Here's the 3rd verse for you. Another one. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty,
talk to him, Sam.
Give him something to drink.
Wow.
For by doing this, you will heap fiery coals on his head.
Not the coals.
On coals. And these coals are coals of shame. That's what it is. My therapist always talks about how shame is an everlasting feeling. It will haunt you forever. Every time you see somebody and you feel ashamed around them, you always in your head are replaying that, even if they moved on from it. I bring all that up to say, look, Deshaun Watson, look, Cal McNair, as Acho said, don't let this pride get in the way. Let's talk about a situation where we don't want to go to war. We don't want to go to a situation where we disturb the greatness we're trying to build together. I love what's happening now because Cal McNair, had to swallow a little pride to come publicly and say that he apologized to his disgruntled but star franchise quarterback.
Now, Bucky, you noticed. You've been on the show for 2 straight blocks, and I ain't take no jabs at you, Bucky. Now, don't think I forgot the person you are. I just acknowledge every now and then there are moments that trump the person. Bucky Brooks, happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, my dog, Bucky Brooks.
Birthday. How old is he?
Hey, I ain't gonna put
How old are you, Bucky? How old are you, Bucky?
Oh, the big 5-0. Oh, don't look a day over 35.
Shoot, yes he does. But hey, let's go cut the locks off one of these clubs and break in and have a party tonight. Can we do that,
Hey,
Bucky?
Sal, can you loan him either the Rolls Royce, the Bentley, or the yacht?
On the big boat. On the big boat.
Hey, party on my big boat that I don't have anymore. Let's do it, guys. Happy birthday, Big Buck. We love you, brother. Coming up, we're bringing in another Acho. That's right, Sam Acho will help us answer if the Bills can pull an upset over the Chiefs. That's next. Speak for yourself. A family affair, baby.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
You're watching Speak for Yourself. Marcel Swally, Emmanuel Acho. Let's head to the AFC, where my Bills are 3.5-point underdogs heading into Sunday's AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Buffalo has won 8 straight, but they're making their first trip to championship weekend since the 1993 season. In KC, the defending champs got positive news today. Patrick Mahomes said he has clear concussion protocol, so he will get the start on Sunday. One Acho wasn't enough for this show. Let's bring in Acho's big brother, and he is crispy clean right now. NFL linebacker Sam Acho. Big dog, we're going to start with the younger Acho first. Can the Bills pull off an upset against the Chiefs?
The Bills can pull off the upset, but they won't. Now, they can because I know what the Bills are capable of doing. We all saw it. 56 points against the Dolphins. You put up 38 points against the Patriots, 48 points against the Broncos. We know just how capable the Bills are. But we got to talk about, it wasn't a Freudian slip. See, I can't even say Freudian.
I love you, Sigmund. Get him, Sigmund.
I can't even say
you up.
Freudian.
You're lying to
That's
yourself.
how you know it's not a Freudian slip, because I can't even say Freudian right. The Bills, I know what they're capable of, but I also know my history. Before you can ever get to the mountaintop, you got to fall. You got to fall and learn that lesson. Before Mahomes ever won a Super Bowl, what happened? He went to that conference championship game and he fell. He fell against that same Tom Brady. If you want to go back even further, Tom Brady, before his first Super Bowl, remember against the Steelers, AFC Conference Championship 2001, if I'm not mistaken, he gets knocked out. Drew Bledsoe comes in, really leads that team to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady comes back in the Super Bowl weeks later to save the day. You kind of got to take a lash, take a bump, take a bruise or so. Now, you might submit that Josh Allen took his last year against the Texans, but I don't think so. I think Josh Allen still has to learn that lesson, and I think this Sunday will be that teachable moment, that lesson that just about every quarterback needs before they can ascend to that mountaintop. Josh Allen, I know just how good he can be, but let's talk Sean McDermott, head coach. He's never been here as a head coach. He's not even been to a conference championship as a head coach. Now, as a defensive coordinator with them Panthers in 2015, you better believe he did that thing with that defense and with that team. They went to the Super Bowl even though they lost to the Broncos. But I do think the stage can be a little bit bigger the very first time for some dudes. Last thing I'm going to say is this on this note. We saw him against the Ravens. Why in the world against the Ravens would you completely abandon your running game, Bills? Unless that moment got too big for you as a coaching staff and you started to outthink yourself. It happens at times. When I would cover LaShawn McCoy in practice, his handle on Twitter is literally cut on a dime, so that tells you about his athletic ability. I would try to outthink things. Okay, he's going to give me an outside move and go inside. He's going to give me an inside move and go outside. He's going to fake an inside move, make me think he's going outside but stay inside. So all of a sudden there's paralysis by analysis, because at times that moment trying to guard him would be bigger than me and my ability. I don't think the Bills will pull off the upset, only because they got to take that first little lashing, which is actually just a learning that'll help them going forward.
Oh, man, I disagree with you. Yes, the Bills can pull off this upset. Acho Sam, I know you know your brother well. He tells me he's a pessimist, but he didn't have to tell me, because I can hear anytime something's imbalanced, Acho leans a little more negative, and of course me, I lean a little more positive. Now, with my love affair with the Buffalo Bills, as well as what I see, which is right now a game that is imbalanced, I'm going to lean towards the positive. Acho, it's time for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen to exorcise those demons. Let's talk about those demons. We saw those demons pop up in Week 6 when he had his worst game against the Kansas City Chiefs this year. And Acho wants to take me down the road of, you know what? Maybe he needs a little more whooping, maybe a little more tapping, because he's not ready for this stage. But I remind Acho, in this year's postseason, we have seen 4 teams that lost to a team, got spanked in the regular season, come around in the postseason and beat them. Let's talk about the Bucs, who lost to the Saints. We know how that turned out in the postseason, right? What about the Browns when they lost to the Steelers? Oh, that turned around. What about the Rams when they lost to the Seahawks? Oh, that turned around in the postseason. And the Ravens that lost to the Titans. Oh, that turned around in the postseason. Let's add the Buffalo Bills to this list as well. And I'm going to take you through my own experience as a player. It's amazing when you put on that helmet, those shoulder pads, people think that you are a warrior and you fear none. I'm going to give you one of my anxieties always in my 10-year career. I never wanted to be on the field first. Whether it was kickoff return, or when I became a full-time starter, I never wanted defense out there first. I wanted to see it from our offense's perspective. I wanted to see the game. I wanted to see the collisions. I wanted to see the speed. And then I said, my turn. It's amazing if you use that parallel to this season with Josh Allen. He saw the Kansas City Chiefs. And I remind people, that game wasn't a blowout like the score may suggest a little bit. Let's talk about a one-possession game in the fourth quarter, 23-17 until a field goal with under 2 minutes left to go in that same game. The same game Josh Allen played his worst all year. All of that adds up to a moment of truth, a moment that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have been waiting for, a chance to exercise those demons.
You see, Marcellus, I'm a little bit different than you in this regard. I do believe the Bills are going to win the game. That's without a doubt. But when it comes to going first versus going last, my last name is Acho, as Emmanuel's is as well. At the NFL Combine, I had Acho 1 on my jersey. My trainer, Cliff Marshall, said, hey, Sam, you're going to be the first one to compete on your 40-yard dash, on your bench press, on your vertical. You're going to be the first. I was a little bit nervous initially. I said, man, I want to see, like Marcellus, what am I competing against? What are the numbers? He said, no. Remember, every time you go shopping, you're going and you walk by a nice little shirt that you like, looks smooth, looks good. You say, man, I like this shirt, but let me keep on shopping. You keep on shopping, but always in your mind is that one smooth-looking suit, smooth-looking shirt that you saw at the very beginning. I wanted to be that guy. And I set a record at the Combine, did my thing. Josh Allen is the same way. They did their thing. Yes, they lost, right? He didn't play his best game, but he's seen the best. Point number one. Point number two, to Emmanuel's point. Emmanuel, you said, and you're right, you got to take some knockdowns. You got to be knocked down before you can get back up. I completely agree. But the point I'll differ with is Buffalo has been knocked down. Yes, I played with the Bills last year during training camp. I was there for about 3-4 weeks. It was great. I didn't make the team. I'm not tripping. But I stayed in Buffalo. I stayed in Buffalo for 2 months with those fans, seeing a lot of the players, staying at the same hotel. This team has been through their downs. Last year was a down year for this team. But what you don't know is that every time you walk into that facility, every time you park in Orchard Park in the facility in the Buffalo Bills, every time you put that little swipe and you put that little numbers, you see something that says playoff caliber. This team has been building a team, not only to make it to the playoffs, they've been building a team to try and beat Tom Brady, to try and beat New England. They've taken their blows year in and year out. And now they are ready to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs and make it to the Super Bowl. Yes, they will win the game.
Ooh. See, it's interesting because I appreciate both you and Marcellus's take. And the reason I do is because extremely low risk, extremely high reward. Y'all say the Bills are going to win the game. When they lose, nobody's going to remember it because we all think the Bills are going to lose. But when the Bills, or if the Bills win, hey, let me get that clip for Twitter. Hey, let me post this real quick. So I love y'all's take because y'all are calculated. Sam, you're the smartest in the Acho family. Marcellus, I'm assuming you're the smartest in your family. Marcellus, Columbia grad. Sam, business, double business major. Y'all incredibly intelligent, calculated individuals. So y'all know how to calculate and deduce risk versus reward. And I can hear it all throughout your takes. I'm not as smart. I'm a wordsmith, but I'm not as smart. So I'm not as calculated with my takes. I just speak honestly. I don't necessarily speak as manipulative. So let's be real, fellas. Let's be real. The Bills. We want to go back to that week 1 matchup. And Sel, you've talked a lot about the close game. Sacho, Sam, you just talked a lot about the Bills. They've taken their lashes. But I listen to a lot of analysts because, again, I have to gather my information from different intelligent people. And I heard an analyst say this. Even though the Chiefs' score with the Bills looked close, it wasn't really close. The last time the Bills had the ball in that game against the Chiefs with the ability to take the lead, 9 minutes left in the third quarter. So, yes, the game was a 9-point game, but the last time the Bills had the ball threatening the Chiefs, threatening to actually be ahead in that game, was with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, people. So there was a half of football that wasn't even actually a contest because the Bills weren't threatening for the second half of the entire game. So again, I understand how smart you are, Sam. I respect it. I've been working my whole life to gain that sort of intelligence. Marcellus, I work with him every day. He reminds me every day, okay, Acho, read more books, get more intelligent. I understand the complexities of y'all's takes. It was calculated. It was just wrong.
Emmanuel, you've known me for a long time. We're brothers, right? We go back. You know me better than probably anyone in the entire world, right? My wife, and then you. I'll say that. You know I don't be making up takes, bro. I say what I believe.
You hit him in that spot. Give me that spot.
You know me better than anybody
What's up,
in the
homie?
world.
What's up, brother?
I was there. So, like, I know we talk about statistics, and I know we talk about numbers. I know we talk about 9 minutes left, and in the first game, and this number, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran for 161, and I know we talk about all those numbers, but I've been there. I've been there. I've been in that locker room with those guys. I knew last year, this team about to be a problem. I said it on shows I've been on before the season even started. I said the Buffalo Bills are going to be a problem. Was that a calculated risk? No, that was people thought that was a ridiculous take, but it's the truth. I speak the truth. And when you see that truth come to fruition, you got to back it up. And so I believe, like Marcellus believes, not because of intelligence and not because we both played with the Bills, because we've been there. You understand what it's like to be under, and you finally get your chance to get on top. And yes, this Buffalo Bills team, I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, is going to be on top come Sunday.
I'm with you, big dog. I've been there. And you've been there more recent than I have. And just to watch what they've built a team that is ready for whatever you have. Look at this team. We know about how prolific they've been in terms of points going forward since this beatdown by the Chiefs. And the Chiefs weren't really threatened, even though it was a close game, and then they kicked the field goal at the end, and it's a 9-point win. But since that loss, since that spanking, and let's remind everybody, because I'm from the days of spanking, not timeout, y'all, spanking. Mama said, I'm about to tear you up with anything in this house to change your behavior. Guess what?
Bingo.
After they got spanked, they changed their behavior. Since their loss, the Bills 11-1 with the NFL's best point differential. #1 scoring offense in the NFL over that span. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, bored with success, have not won a game by more than 6 points since November 1st. So all I'm saying right now is a collision course in terms of what team is the most dangerous right now, what team is the hottest, and what team is the best. Ooh, smart, dumb, whatever. We all gonna be tuned in to see who's gonna win this one. I can't wait. Coming up, is Brady versus Rodgers for a trip to the Super Bowl. We'll pick a winner next. Speak for yourself. It's on.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Packers are favored by 3.5 points against the Bucs Sunday, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Aaron Rodgers will host an NFC Championship game for the first time at Lambeau, while Tom Brady's Bucs have won 6 straight. But they will not have star receiver Antonio Brown, who's officially ruled out with the knee injury. My big brother Sam, the one and only Sam Macho's back with us. But Marcellus, you up first.
Yep.
Who wins the NFC Championship game? Is it the Bucs or the Packers?
I think it's the Tampa Bay Bucs. Look, we know this is going to be a tremendous matchup, and I'm not going to take shots at the Green Bay Packers and making my argument, but I'm going to prop up what I see from the Tampa Bay Bucs in terms of response to adversity. New Orleans Saints comes to mind, and improving and changing how they go about their business since that Week 9 loss to the Saints. If you look at it, it's really this simple. We have 2 of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen, but one of them has figured out the formula, the calculus, the algorithm in which he can grab everything around him and aggregate that to ultimate success. That's why Tom Brady sits with 6 rings and Aaron Rodgers sits with 1 ring. That's just reality. That's not a shot. But if you start to look at individual parts, you start to realize that Tom Brady has a more prolific offense. At least he has more weapons than even Green Bay does and Aaron Rodgers has at his disposal. The Bucs have a better defense than the Packers, especially when it comes to taking the ball away, the best in the NFL in terms of takeaways. So when you start to add it all up, you have the quarterback who's better prepared, or at least has better success in this moment. You have a team that has all of these weapons, and when fully activated, look, they didn't even have a good game and scored 30 points against the New Orleans Saints. I can hear the comeback right now. Well, the Saints had 4 turnovers. I just told you. Their defense is the best in the NFL enforcing turnovers. So they have the edge everywhere I look, and whatever you want to get in terms of an edge from actually performing and playing well against them earlier this season. All of that adds up to me in a game that could be a pick'em. I'm going to give a slight edge to the Tampa Bay Bucs.
I respect it. Obviously, I'm going to go Pack go on this one. The Bucs, they're just hit or miss for me. If you think the Bucs are going to win, the Bucs are going to win because of their defense. That's what it has to come down to. Tom Brady, 54% completion percentage last week, 55% completion percentage the week before. 2 of his 3 lowest completion percentages have come in the playoffs. So when I look at the Bucs, it's not going to be their offense for me. I mean, Mike Evans held to 1 catch. Gronk held to 1 catch. AB's not even playing this week. Scotty Miller held to 1 catch. Heck, Chris Godwin had to lead the team with 4 catches last week from the receiver position, and he had the most drops the week before. I don't know what I'm going to get from these Bucs, and I'm not trusting that the Buccaneers defense is going to be able to do to Aaron Rodgers what they did the first time. So I would honestly be a fool to come up here and say that I think the Bucs will win because they won the first time after what happened to me last week when you embarrassed me on my Buccaneers Saints take. So I'm learning from my own idiocracy, and I'm switching this time around. But let me give it to y'all like this. The Bucs realize, or they should realize, the only way that they can win this game is if they can be balanced, run the ball, and pass the ball. They should realize that. But here's the problem. People at home, Marcellus, my brother, read into the details. The Bucs quarterback coach, Clyde Christensen, former quarterback. The Bucs offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, former quarterback. The Bucs head coach, Bruce Arians, former quarterback. The most powerful man in the Bucs organization, Tom Brady, their quarterback, current quarterback. So they're going to get into this game realizing we got to be balanced, we got to be balanced, we got to be balanced. But I think they're going to revert back to all of their natural ways, which is seeing the game through passing the ball, passing the ball, passing the ball. And you're not going to outshoot out Aaron Rodgers in Aaron Rodgers' home stadium.
Packers win this game, and it's not even a conversation. It's not because you can talk about their MVP quarterback. We can talk about that. We can talk about how the Bucs are an up and down team. We can also talk about that. But I remember coming on this show a few months ago, my very first time on the show with my brother and with Marcellus. We were doing our thing, laughing, joking, kicking it, having a good time. And y'all asked me one question. Y'all talked about Aaron Rodgers, and is he really that confident with some of his responses in the very beginning of the season? And I said, this man oozes confidence. This man breathes out confidence. This man is the embodiment of confidence. That confidence has not left. Aaron Rodgers is unstoppable. Yes, I played in Tampa Bay last year. I was on that defense. I know Todd Bowles. I was with BA. I get it. Their defense is really, really good. But I've got a very simple question. Who's going to guard Devontae Adams? Who's going to guard Devontae Adams? Nobody. We can talk about Carlton Davis. And yes, he shut down Michael Thomas, even though Michael Thomas was really playing injured all year. We could talk about Sean Murphy-Bunting, their cornerback who got an interception last week. We can talk about all these guys. But who's going to guard Devontae Adams? Who's going to stop Aaron Jones? There's so many players on this Green Bay Packers offense, but it all starts and it all stops with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, you can't stop him.
Man, See, I was trying to be nice. Man, damn. All this therapy talk I've been having, all these segments, I try to go to my higher angels. Now, I got to cut you. Okay, here's the thing. Who's going to guard Devontae Adams? We're all former players. I hate when I get on TV, I can't curse and say it like I said it. Oh, who going to guard Devontae Adams? Let's go back to the defensive coordinating meetings. Who going to guard him? Hey, man, he going to guard himself. Last time we played him, 6 catches, 61 yards. Somebody was guarding his butt and guarding him well. Oh, no, who going to stop Aaron Jones? Hey, he going to stop himself. 10 carries, 15 rushing yards. Excuse me, Dougie Fresh. Ain't nobody scared of these dudes. We already saw them, and we already shut them down because we have a better defense than them, and we take the ball away from them. And don't say, oh, well, then they got Aaron Rodgers. How about the Buccaneers ranked second in the NFL with 125 quarterback hits this season? So we're going to get after the quarterback, and we have success against your star players. I love this show, and I'm getting double-teamed right now by the Acho brothers. And it's funny because I didn't know that my boy Emmanuel Acho was such a Packers fan. When the Saints lose, all of a sudden he got to convert all that energy because energy can't be created or destroyed, just transferred. So he got to transfer all that Saints Janet to the big Green Bay Packers in 1 week. That bandwagon got heavy, and a high-top fade just jumped on it right now. But I'm not going to allow this, not at all. Aaron Rodgers, who I'm not trying to take a shot. Oh, all right. Man, smoke one of them. I told you I got to cut you. Get your butt off the screen. Why?
Hey, one Acho still standing.
Get your butt off the screen. Oh, he back. But his blood on his suit, if you can see that right now. Let's talk about the fact that in the Week 6 matchup being real, that was the worst loss for the Packers all year. Fewest points scored by the Packers. Most points allowed by the Packers. And now they're one of 5 all-time Packers teams to lose by 25 points with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. Why does that matter? Because Aaron Rodgers has been in this position before, and when he's losing to a team by 25 points in the regular season, he doesn't beat them in the postseason. I talked about that before. To the Cardinals, 49ers, Buccaneers, we'll see this game. The last nugget is, hopefully this just lets y'all know, this is a conversation, as Sam said it wasn't. Since 2010, there have been 9 instances of teams meeting again in the postseason after a beatdown in the regular season like this one, 25 points. In all 9 instances, the team that won the regular season one, they won the postseason one. Acho, it's all good. You want to stay on that side, but if you want to hop over here, it's a little room on this Buccaneer boat, brother.
So let me chime in real quick. Let me say something. Because that game was a blowout. It was ugly. But there were some good moments. Marcellus Wiley, you said it, so I will now follow up, not telling your business. You talked about your engagements a couple times.
Yeah.
Now, I would assume some of them probably ended poorly.
To them, yes, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
But to them, some ended poorly. But I'm assuming they started well. They would have had to.
Damn, she fine.
Fantastic. Oh, they started great.
She fine. Who that is?
We got to remember, the Packers game ended poorly. But against the Bucs, it started great.
Oh, that's true.
Aaron Rodgers, 10 plays down the field, 3 points.
Good point.
Next possession, 11 plays down the field, 7 points. Packers are up 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. It started great. The problem was, like your relationships prior to the last one, it ended terribly. But the thing about it, Marcellus, just like you did, you learned from the past. And you figured out how to sustain the good moments into a marriage. I think Aaron Rodgers has learned from the past. He'll figure out how to sustain the good moments into a championship victory, leading him to the Super Bowl. So I understand it started great and ended bad for Aaron Rodgers the first time. But this second time around, he's going to get it fixed.
Strong right there, boy.
Here's the thing I love about Tampa Bay. They're the team that everybody wants to get behind. They're hot. They got Tom Brady. They got Antonio Brown. They got Vita Vea. They got Ndamukong Suh. They got JPP. They got Shaq Barrett. They got all these guys. But they're also super inconsistent. They are probably the most inconsistent team in football. And I say that because you watch the film. I watch the film. I've been in the locker rooms where after a game, BA will put up the mental errors and the mental assignments, and I have a sheet full of, in college we call them NOSs, not our standards. A sheet full of guys. Not our standards. Guys who have no business being on that sheet. Tom Brady on that sheet. Mike Evans on that sheet. These are your leaders who are on that sheet. And so, yes, Tampa Bay has looked amazing. And I understand, Marcellus, where you're coming from. Look at the numbers. Look at how great they've looked. Look at the turnovers. Look at Todd Bowles on the defense. But they're also extremely inconsistent. And I've seen it firsthand when I was there. Before I got there last year, they were 1-6. I got there, we won 5 in a row. All of a sudden, we turned around. We finished off 7-9. We did really well. Inconsistent. The same thing happened this year. Early on, we're wondering, can Tom Brady do it? Is this a good fit? Was this the right decision? What's going on in Tampa Bay? And then all of a sudden, they got it figured out. Yeah, it sounds good, but they're also up and they're down. They're the most up and down team in football, and that's why I cannot trust them to come out and perform in the 17-degree weather. It's 17 degrees right now in Green Bay. It's 73 in Tampa. You can't ask them to come out and perform at a high level in this championship game when they are the most inconsistent team in football.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going to use your take against you. Or you want to go inconsistency with Tampa? How about arrogance with Green Bay? Now, you said they ooze with confidence. That's just because you got relationships there. I don't live in Green Bay. I don't know them dudes. They are arrogant right now because they keep saying about the Week 6 matchup, oh, that was a long time ago. You got to take ownership of that. Acho and I had a good conversation about anomaly arrogance. And anomaly arrogance is when something really extreme bad happens to you, you act like that ain't you. Oh, that ain't how I play. Oh, okay. I can run with that if you're Aaron Rodgers. You're right. You're much better than that. But don't act like Tom Brady went out there and balled out. Tom Brady in that game had 166 passing yards and put up 38 on y'all. Woo, be careful. As much as you want to improve, they are going to improve as well. So a team that's arrogant, and they have good reason to be arrogant. They have the #1 scoring offense. 3 of their top 5 scoring outputs was before the beat down at Tampa. So why would they go back to the drawing board? They didn't. And if you don't go back to the drawing board, like Tampa did against New Orleans, you're just going to roll out there again and say, man, that was just a one-off. We got these boys, and then smack. Here comes that Buccaneer pirate ship right down your face. So be careful on this one, man. I really am on record. Tampa Bay got this. Coming up, Dwayne Haskins is getting a second chance in Pittsburgh. We'll tell you what we think of his career moves. That's next. Speak for yourself. My dog, Sam. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Dwayne Haskins signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers yesterday. Haskins was released by Washington nearly a month ago after 2 seasons with the team. The former first-round pick broke COVID protocol in December and had 3 turnovers in his final game with Washington before he was benched. So, Acho, what are your thoughts on Dwayne Haskins signing with the Steelers?
Why? Mike Tomlin, like, why?
A little bit of that, too. I'm
like, that's really my only thought, big dog. It's not that Dwayne Haskins doesn't deserve a second chance, not that Dwayne Haskins shouldn't get a second chance or third chance, whatever chance number that he's on, but it's Mike Tomlin, big dog. You early on in your career in Pittsburgh, you go through a lot of drama because of your quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. Then about a decade later, you go through a ton of drama because of your star-studded receiver, Antonio Brown. Okay, we got AB up out of there. Then this season, you go through a whole bunch of drama because of your supposed star receiver, Juju Smith. Okay, Juju Smith, he's an impending free agent, so he'll probably be up out of there. Then after y'all are eliminated and the season's over, Chase Claypool, your future star receiver, is now causing you a whole bunch of drama. So I just don't get it. I'm like, Mike Tomlin, do you enjoy a headache? Like, that's not what he was like. Like, do you like making your head hurt? Yeah. That's the one cell that confuses me. Yeah. I'm not even so frustrated by Dwayne Haskins being, I'm just like, Mike Tomlin, big dog, I want to see you succeed. Me and you talked about this off air the other day. Like, we both think Mike Tomlin, phenomenal coach. Why are you even doing this one to yourself?
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins, I'll say this and I'll be done with my first lap. If you're saying, okay, we're going to draft late because we made it to the playoffs, we had a first-round bye, we can't get a first-rounder at the quarterback position, so let's acquire a first-round talent for cheap, okay, fine, I'll give you that. But if you're acquiring a 23-year-old Dwayne Haskins, you need people who can encourage him, some leadership to cultivate him. Ben Roethlisberger, we know he's not going to do that. So who are quarterbacks next closest to? Receivers. Ain't nobody in that receivers room proven to be a leader. So I don't get this one.
I didn't get it either. Frame it. Mike Tomlin in 14 seasons has never had a losing season. Woo-hoo, that man could coach. But culture, it's interesting how the culture in Pittsburgh works. I always look from afar at the culture in Pittsburgh like this. If it's in you, in Pittsburgh, it's going to come out of you. Let's talk about the names. Forget it. Before I even go to the Steelers, LeVar Arrington, his predator-looking butt. When he come on our show, he crazy. Like, this is what happens. Something about the Berg dudes, it just comes out of you. Even if you ain't from there, you just put that on in the Berg, it happens. Joey Porter. Oh, my God. My dog.
Peasy.
Jay Peasy brought hands to people's worlds no matter when and where he was as a Steeler. AB, we talked about. Juju, we talked about. You forgot Le'Veon Bell, bro. He sat out a year. Talking about culture. So it's interesting. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm just scared that keep taking these risks, somebody going to try to bring me down with them instead of just me being Teflon to these situations. That said, the leader is still there, and I don't think we've talked about him yet. Big Ben. Now, is Big Ben the proper leader for this team in terms of building culture? So far on his watch, I would have to say no. Of course. Big Ben is Charles Barkley. He is not a role model. Like, he ain't tried. Forget it. Y'all thinking I'm taking shots at Big Ben? Tell me if this is still your leader's mindset when he says, quote, when they drafted Mason Rudolph, I just don't know. I got to say it in Big Ben voice. I just don't know how backing up or being a third stringer, well, who knows how far he's going to fall on the depth chart, is going to help us win right now. But, hey, maybe he can come in and do something. I'll be a little surprised. Ooh, wait. Has Big Ben looked like a groomer, looked like a big brother to these younger quarterbacks? And Dwayne Haskins is in a position where he needs that type of assistance. Urban Meyer has said two things kind of extreme about when we talk about Dwayne Haskins. As a talent, he was like, that might have been the best recruiting prospect I've ever seen. But when he left Ohio State, he was also like, yeah, needs some work on the leadership. Now you're going to put him in a situation where there's been some cultural issues, and Big Ben has not shown that he's someone to groom a young talent like this culturally. Oh, it could be a recipe for disaster.
The only defense that I'll give for Mike Tomlin, because we've said a lot about why this doesn't make sense, is to Marcellus's first point. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in 14 seasons, Sale said, and so fact-checking that's real. But also beyond that, probably the most mind-boggling stat, Mike Tomlin doesn't have a quarterback that has a losing record. Bro, Big Ben, 127-63. Mason Rudolph, 5-4. Charlie Batch, 3-3. Duck Hodges was 3-3. Landry Jones, 3-2. Even Mike Vick, 2-1. Dennis Dixon, 2-1. So Mike Tomlin is saying, hey, just give me a guy and I can make him win. I've won with less talented players than Dwayne Haskins. So give me the guy. I can kind of massage the character long enough to at least keep him on the field. Give me the talent. I can turn the talent into wins and losses. I'm just wondering, like any decision, you always got to do a cost-benefit analysis. Mike Tomlin, my proposal is the cost and the potential cost of Dwayne Haskins worth the benefit?
Well, you know, it's interesting, man. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Big Ben is contemplating retirement again. Whatever that means, Big Ben is old, and it's time to start looking for someone else to replace him. The heir apparent. And I don't think it's Mason Rudolph. I don't think they think it's Mason Rudolph. Serviceable, but I don't think they think of him in terms of franchise quarterback. But the talent level of Dwayne Haskins still whispers to you, I could be a franchise quarterback if I put my head on straight. It's interesting if you look at it from this perspective that when you're talking about him going there, how it could work, that's why you're enticed to do it. That's why you're incentivized to do it. And usually when you want something, you never think about how this can fall, how this can fail, how this can come back to haunt you. So I look at a situation like this, like, look, Big Ben is not motivated to help Dwayne Haskins. I'm going to help him, get him right, and all that's going to do is hurt me and get me out the door faster. On top of, Big Ben has not shown that he wanted to do it, even when he had the proper security. It's an interesting play right there, man. I hope this works out in Pittsburgh. And if it doesn't, I hope Tomlin stays safe from all this craziness. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers is a win away from his second trip to the Super Bowl. We'll tell you what that will mean for his legacy. That's next. Speak for yourself.
Ooh, welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Aaron Rodgers will start in his 5th NFC Championship game Sunday against the Buccaneers, but his first at Lambeau Field. Now, Rodgers is the MVP favorite this season, finishing with a career high in touchdown passes. The future Hall of Famer already has a Super Bowl win on his resume, but he has not been back since the 2010 season. Boy, that's a long time.
Decade.
Marcellus, let's talk about legacy, shall we? What will a win Sunday do for Aaron Rodgers' legacy?
Oh, man, it will put him where he belongs. It will put him up there with some made men. That one ring, man, it really feels like a classic underachievement. Unfortunately, based on his talent level, just being real, that's what you always hear in the negative about Aaron Rodgers. But 2 rings, or at least getting past this place right here at the NFC Championship level, will do wonders for him. Let's talk about where he is right now before we talk about where he could take him. Some players that are less than Aaron Rodgers have the same number of conference championship wins. You want to hear this list? I just want you to think about this is your crew. This is your posse. Shout out to Phil Jackson, whatever. Jake Delhomme. You want to ride with him to the party of greatness, the party of greatness. Rex Grossman, Stan Humphries, Nick Foles, maybe Jimmy G. Maybe I need a new crew, right? Okay, so let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, who's the only quarterback in NFL history with multiple MVP awards, but only 1 Super Bowl appearance. At the party, if she know that, you ain't getting, don't holler at me, Aaron Rodgers, if you the only dude with that negative on you. But let's talk about where he is in terms of 1 ring and where he can be in terms of 2 rings. Do you want to go to the party with Nick Foles, or do you want to get 2 rings and be with John Elway? Do you want to go to the party with Doug Williams, or do you want to go to the party and hang out with Ben Roethlisberger? And it's going to be a party of Ben there. Hey, do you want to be with Jim McMahon in 1 ring, or do you want to be with Peyton Manning, the sheriff? Get where you belong, big dog. Aaron Rodgers, you down there with some dudes that are good, great in their own right, but they're not Aaron Rodgers.
That's real. I agree with you. I do. Aaron Rodgers desperately needs this sell because, like you said, he got to get into the party and he also got to get into the right conversations.
Yeah.
Right now, Aaron Rodgers, he's kind of stuck in this BOAT conversation, and I hate some of the acronyms we use nowadays. Best of all time.
Okay.
Because he hasn't done enough to even be mentioned in the conversation of GOAT, greatest of all time. And why hasn't he done so? Because he just hasn't won enough. As much as we want to proclaim Aaron Rodgers as elite, proclaim Aaron Rodgers as great, he hasn't galvanized his team to greatness. But he can change all of that on Sunday. And before even getting to the party, Marcellus, and being mentioned amongst the greats in NFL history, are you even the greatest in your own franchise?
Ooh, boy, stop.
Brett Favre, 2 Super Bowl appearances. He won once with the Packers. Bart Starr, OG, 2 Super Bowl victories with the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to be the best in your franchise. Now, Aaron Rodgers, are you the most talented? I would say so, obviously, but you're not necessarily the best in your own franchise. I'll give it to you like this. 63 quarterbacks have started a Super Bowl. 33 quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl. But only 12, Marcellus, have won 2 or more Super Bowls. And only 4 have won 3 or more. So right now, if you look at it, Aaron Rodgers, you've checked out the first list, you're 1 of 63. You started in a Super Bowl. You checked out the second list, you won a Super Bowl. But you're chilling in this classification of 33 other dudes. You have to move beyond that. But the only way you can move beyond that, you win Sunday, you get to the Super Bowl, you try to win another one.
Yeah, man, he's different than us. Look, my ego can take it. I played in the NFL. He's playing for NFL history, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole different animal. So when you're talking about NFL history and on that game field, multiple MVPs, multiple Super Bowl rings, all you're going to say is Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning. Want to say your name, Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, that's the rare area you need to be in, because other than that, you're playing in a lesser game. You're playing around with Acho and Wiley. That ain't it. unless you want to come over here and play, because this is when we all-timers. Terry Bradshaw is up in the Super 6 stakes yet again for the NFC Championship game. Last weekend, he gave away his beloved all-new 2021 Ford F-150 to lucky winner Terry from Maryland. This weekend, he's giving away his other all-new 2021 Ford F-150 as a guaranteed prize and $500,000 of his own money. One of the questions for the NFC Championship contest is, which team will have the most receiving yards and by how many? Acho, what do you think?
Most receiving yards, give me the Green Bay Packers, and they'll have more receiving yards by 35.
You are running too far with this Packers love. It's going to be the Tampa Bay Bucs. They have more good receivers.
That's
and
fair.
I'll flip it on you. 35. Download the free Fox Super 6 app and make your picks for your shot to win. All you need to do is pick 6 outcomes in the NFC Championship game. It's completely free to play. Coming up, Tom Brady has a huge game this Sunday. We'll tell you if his former coach, Bill Belichick, will be rooting for him. Oh, that's next. Speak for yourself. NFL playoffs continue Sunday with the NFC Championship, presented by TurboTax Live, as Tom Brady and the Buccaneers take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Pre-game coverage starts at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Speaking of that game, Tom Brady can become the 4th quarterback to take 2 different franchises to the Super Bowl if his Bucs beat the Packers. Brady won 6 rings in New England with Bill Belichick, but the Patriots went in the opposite direction this season without the GOAT. New England finished with a 7-9 record, Belichick's worst in 21 seasons. So, Acho, you think Bill Belichick is rooting for Tom Brady this weekend?
Big dog, outwardly yes, inwardly not at all. With his head, he probably is, but with his heart, he's convicted and conflicted. Y'all saw my brother come on this show, so I'm going to tell on myself now that there's some context. 2018, it was the 17th season. The Bears are playing the Eagles. Actually, it may have been the following year, the year after the Super Bowl. Bears are playing the Eagles. My brother played for the Chicago Bears at the time, but obviously all my close friends are on the Eagles. I'm a former Eagle. So y'all can imagine I was torn. Now everybody asked me, hey, who you rooting for? Man, I'm rooting for family, bro. That's my big brother. I'm rooting for him. I want him to get a ring. When he wins, I win. We all win. But I caught myself, Marcellus.
What'd you say?
Over the course of the game, the Bears would turn over, and I'd be like, yes. Or the Eagles would make a big play. I'd be like... And I caught myself because I thought I was rooting for the Bears with my head, but with my heart, it became evident to me that I was rooting for the Eagles. Bill Belichick is going to be watching this game and probably see Tom Brady throw a pick and just kind of chuckle. He's probably going to see Aaron Rodgers score and probably breathe a sigh of relief, a subconscious sigh of relief, because Bill Belichick, he knows what it is. He knows what time it is, man. If Tom Brady goes out there and wins this game, goes to a Super Bowl, wins a Super Bowl without Belichick, then people will start to wonder, okay, Bill Belichick, how much did you really do? Should we give Brady more credit? With his head, he's rooting for Tom Brady, but with his heart, he's not.
Nah, he's rooting for Tom Brady all the way through. Belichick is different. Okay. We know he's different by accomplishment.
Yes, sir.
But he's also different by psyche. His persona, how he acts to the media, how he acts to the world, is not how Bill Belichick really is. Anybody who's ever had 5 minutes with him realizes, oh, there is a warmer side to Bill Belichick. But let me take you back, a little history lesson for those out there, when he was coaching as a defensive coordinator with Bill Parcells. Now, they were pulling in the same direction because he worked on his staff, but he was rooting for Bill Parcells to become the great big tuna he was. So then when he went by himself, he can go and supersede, go past what the tuna accomplished. That happened in real life. What happens in this situation is the same thing, the same mentality. Bill Belichick's like, I want Tom Brady to go get his. Do all you got to do, Tom Brady, because then I'm going to go get you, and then I'm going to surpass you as well. You can't be the most successful coach ever without loving the game. You also can't love the game without loving the players, or at least the process. You also can't love the players and not root for the most successful player you've ever coached. So I understand where you're coming from, that blind rooting interest where it's like, wait a minute, I thought I was thinking this way and feeling this way, but it caught you by surprise. But this one's not catching him by surprise. He's been here before. Go ahead, tuna. Swim. I'm going to go get you. Coming up, Uncle Jimmy has a very interesting take on Sunday's Bills-Chiefs matchup, and that's next. Speak for yourself. That ain't this year. Look at all them people. Before we go, Uncle Jimmy joins us. You're a big Chiefs fan, as we can see by your background. So what's your take on Sunday's AFC Championship game? All this bias.
Hey, man, look here. I'm gonna say this as nice as I can, all right?
Whatever.
The Buffalo Bills are straight garbage. That's right. I said it.
Wrong.
I meant it.
Wrong.
And I'm here to represent it. Hey, man, Tupac said it best. He said, how y'all gonna be the mob when we the mob? See, the Bills may have a mafia, but bro, don't act like the Chiefs don't have a kingdom. Hey, man, you know what? The Kansas City Chiefs are the only team in NFL history to ever get talked about in the Bible. The Bible says, thy kingdom what? Thy kingdom come. And it tells you that if you try to get in between us, it tells you what's going to happen. Thy will be what? Thy will be done.
Bye.
See, man, the Buffalo Bills ain't nothing but a group of born-again heathens. They a band of misfits, a group of non-believers. And the book of James distinctly tells you that if you're dealing with a group with an ill-retribute mind, you must split thy scalp back to the fat meat, and the fool shall flee far from thy mind. So it is written, so it shall be. I'm only the messenger. Take the Chiefs by 3.
All I heard was Bills by 7. More pictures, please. Come on, man. Those are hilarious. That's it for us. Have a great weekend, party people.